As much as I personally love Starfield, it's definitely been a big topic of conversation lately on how people kind of think that Bethesda made a wrong decision while making the game. Recently, there's been a lot of discussion about the huge differences between Starfield and past Bethesda games, and a lot of that does come back down to exploration and just sort of getting from point A to point B. For example, in past Bethesda games like, say, Fallout 4 or Skyrim, a lot of the game's content was on one singular map. In fact, all of it was until you start including DLCs, and it made for some great exploration because you'd just be walking around and, randomly stumble across a new questline or a new follower or unique gear or just something along those lines worth exploring. And it felt very organic and it flowed together really nicely. And it also just helped sort of build the world around you, because you'd be walking towards your quest marker and stumble across a ruin or a building or a radio signal or something like that, and it would distract you from the quest you were doing, and you could spend the next hour maybe, or maybe even more sometimes, just exploring this one new location you found, or doing a new quest that you've randomly stumbled across. And of course, in past Bethesda games, this was a frequent thing, and it's something that a lot of people really loved. It's definitely one of the reasons that I fell in love with Bethesda games in the first place, just the exploration. From Morrowind all the way up to Fallout 4, this exploration system just worked, to quote Todd Howard. Of all the negative things that people had to say about these past Bethesda Game Studios games, exploration was never one of them. I love Fallout 76 now, but back when I didn't like it, and in fact I outright hated it, I still thought that the exploration was really good. But when it comes to Starfield, a lot of people, myself included, think Bethesda really just dropped the ball here. I think, honestly understandably, a lot of us expected Starfield to be Bethesda's best exploration game yet, because, well, it's a space game, and there's really no better place to explore than space. I mean, that's literally why we go to space in real life, to explore and, to quote Starfield itself, to see what's out there. But Starfield sadly doesn't have this organic flow of exploration. Unlike past Bethesda games, if you want to find something unique in Starfield, you're going to have to actually go out there and really look for it. And honestly, it could take a while. To kind of put this into perspective, my main Starfield character, I'm doing a 100% playthrough. That means I want to do every single possible thing that the game offers on this one character. And currently I'm working my way through scanning every single planet and moon and system in the entire game. I've been working through this for about 100 hours now, just flying from planet or moon to moon, scanning everything on it, finding its traits, and rinse and repeat. And yeah, it's somewhat fun, but during these 100-ish hours, I've completed about, 30-ish systems, and again, during these 100 hours, I found nothing unique, no handcrafted content, besides once where I found a random farm with no NPCs and nothing to do there. I'm sure it is tied to a quest that I just haven't found yet, but still you get the point. If I spent 100 hours just walking around in pretty much any previous Bethesda Game Studios game, I would have found tons of quests and tons of handcrafted content and unique gear and all of that usual stuff that we would expect. And look, if you've subscribed to me for a while, then you know that I was a huge defender of Starfield having 1,000 planets and 100 systems. But sadly, it just didn't work that well, at least in my opinion and from the opinions that I've seen a lot online. Like I said, if you want to find handcrafted content in Starfield, you're really going to have to look for it, and even then, it could take over 100 hours, and you'd still find nothing, as I just proved. And look, I'm not trying to trash on the game. Starfield is definitely one of my favourite games this year. I love the world that Bethesda have created here, and I'm already like 500 hours into the game at this point. But I'd be lying if I told you I wasn't hugely disappointed in the exploration side of things. But to the main point of this video, people recently have been saying that they wish Bethesda just focused on one or two systems, with only a few planets and moons in each, with sort of condensed maps for each planet and moon filled with content, just like a regular Bethesda game map, rather than spreading everything out across this huge 1,000+ planets and moons universe, and honestly I massively agree with this take. When I look back at Skyrim especially, I'm still discovering things I never knew were in the game to this very day. It was only a couple of years ago that I discovered an entire questline in Skyrim that I had never seen before. I even had to look up if this was an Anniversary Edition questline, and much to my surprise it wasn't. It was a base game questline, and this was 10 years after Skyrim released on a game that I have thousands and thousands of hours in. And sure, maybe I've done that quest before and just not remembered it, but I really don't remember that quest, and I'm sure that I did only find it a few years ago. And the exact same thing can be said for Fallout 4. While yes, it has been a very long time since I discovered anything new in Fallout 4, there's so much content there. I often stumble across things and think, oh, I completely forgot that this was in the game, you know? Again, this is on a game that's like 8 years old that I have thousands and thousands of hours in. But with Starfield, like I've been saying, I'm putting in over 100 hours of just walking around scanning planets and I'm finding nothing of note. So when I spend like 5 hours playing Starfield and I'm walking around and finding nothing, it of course just makes me think, wow, have I just discovered everything in this game already? And we're not even 3 months in from when Starfield officially released. With Skyrim and Fallout 4 and even Morrowind, Oblivion and Fallout 3, 3 months was nothing. I still had tons of stuff to explore in these games after 3 months. But like I just said, with Starfield we're nearly 3 months in and I'm already feeling like I've seen everything in the game. And the thing is, I know that I haven't, but this is just how it feels. And look, I'm not like giving up on Starfield or anything like that, not at all. In fact, as soon as this video is put out, I'm going to grab something to eat and hop back onto the game. I'm really in the mood to play it right now. But we really just needed to talk about this. If I could sum this all up in one sentence, I would say, you know it's bad when Bethesda said that Starfield has more handcrafted content than any of their previous games, but you can't even find said content. And I do believe that Starfield probably does have more handcrafted content than any of their previous games, but it just doesn't feel this way. And that's the negative thing. And again, I know I've already said this, but I'm not trying to hate on Starfield here. Everything else about this game I pretty much love. Spaceship building, I love it. The followers, I love them. The cities, I love them too. The quests that you do find, I love them. But the exploration just isn't great, and I wish that there was a way that Bethesda could fix this, but honestly I don't see any way that they could. Because I mean, let's be real, they're not about to just change the entire game to only have 20 planets, they'll never ever do that. So my only hope is that after a few years, Bethesda would have put out tons and tons of updates that just add new things to explore and things to do. Honestly, kind of taking the Minecraft approach, where we get entire updates for one thing, such as the Minecraft Aquatic update that Minecraft put out a few years ago. It fully changed the way that oceans worked in the game, gave us a ton of new enemies and things to do and explore. Like, Bethesda could do this kind of stuff with Starfield. Imagine a huge water update in Starfield that includes actual water exploration, not just sitting in water floating on ocean planets, and just stuff like that. If Bethesda updated Starfield with enough updates like this, Starfield's exploration, I think, could honestly go from meh to really good in just a few years' time. And of course it is important to note that despite the lack of Starfield updates recently, Bethesda did say in the past that they're prepared to put out updates that we all want and change the game to make it as good as it could possibly be. So hopefully they actually meant this, and again, things will change in the future. But that is all I have to say today. I just wanted to share my thoughts on this discussion that's currently going around online, but share yours in the comments below. I really want to hear what you guys think of all of this. If you enjoyed the video, I kindly ask that you leave it a like and consider subscribing if you want to stay up to date on Bethesda content. Lastly, as always, a huge and massive thank you to our channel members. The support means the world, guys, so thank you so much for sticking with me month after month. But with all of that said and done, we are going to wrap up, so thank you all so much for watching, and I really hope to see you next time. Peace.